Okay, so this is the first of a series of videos to explain how to factorise quadratic equations. Now remember, a quadratic equation is one where you have the variable raised to the power of 2 and then you may have two other terms follow, but it definitely has to have the variable squared is a quadratic. So this is what you call a trinomial quadratic because there are three terms there. So this is the standard form of the monic quadratic because x squared doesn't have a coefficient. X squared plus bx plus c, where b and c have a numerical value. So b must be the coefficient in front of the variable and c must be the coefficient which is the constant. Okay, so our first method of factorising quadratic equations is by factoring or grouping in pairs. And so what that rule relies on is that there are two numbers that when they add together, they produce this number b here. But when they are multiplied together, they produce this number c here. So what is the sum of two numbers that equal b and the product of two numbers that equal c? So it's really important you know your number facts and your factors of all your math. So if we have, for example, x squared plus 7x plus 12, we need two terms that add together to equal 7, but when those same two terms are multiplied, they equal 12. So there's only one set of numbers that can give you that, and that's positive 3 and positive 4. 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 times 4 is 12, and then you simply place those terms inside the brackets. So it becomes x plus 3 bracket, x plus 4 in brackets. Okay? So that's the factor of this quadratic expression here. Over here, we have x squared minus 5x plus 4. What two terms? Add to equal negative 5. So this is subtraction, but it's also negative 5, okay? So add to equal negative 5, but multiply to equal 4. To multiply to equal 4, we can have positive 4 times positive 1 or negative 4 times negative 1. You need to remember your positive and negative number rules. And so negative 4 subtract 1 is negative 5 are the only, like positive 4 and positive 1 doesn't work, so it has to be this in here. So that means we use negative 4 and negative 1 because that's what works for both of these numbers here, and we put those in brackets, so it becomes x minus 4 and x minus 1 in bracket. Another example, x squared minus 3x minus 10. So straight away, because I have a negative number here, I know that one of my terms has to have a negative value and the other one has to have a positive value because a negative multiplied by a positive is a negative value. So I have two numbers that multiply to get 10 are 5 and 2 or 10 and 1, but 10 and 1 don't make 3. So 5 and 2 we know make 3 in some form. So negative 5 times positive 2 gives me negative 10. And positive 5 times negative 2 also equal negative 10. But negative 5 plus 2 equals negative 3. Negative 2 plus 5 equals positive 3. So it has to be this pair of numbers here. Remember, it's the same numbers in sign as well as value that add together to equal negative 3 and multiply together to equal negative 10. So then those two numbers just go inside your brackets. So it's x minus 5 in brackets and x plus 2 in brackets. So that's factorising quadratic equations by grouping in pairs. And you identify that that's the best strategy to use for those equations where you identify that this number here and this number here is related because there's two numbers, they're multiplied together equal 12, but when added together equal 7. Okay, so you're looking at B and C and finding that there's a link between those. Okay.